Cronulla Sharks 38. Defeat the Dragons 10. To chat through all of the ups and ups, Franko joins me on the ET stand next.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.
Welcome to the debrief on the ET Stand Podcast, baby. We are live on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel to make sure you're notified of all of our upcoming content as the Sharkies head into the NRL finals. I've also got some news on the ET Stand Podcast. We are available on a range of podcasting channels now. Franko has finally gotten his wish, and I've gotten off my butt over the weekend. We're now on Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube Podcasts, and a new one called Deezer, which I'd never heard of, plus Spotify, and we've got a few more coming soon. And before I go any further, I just want to say happy birthday and a shout out to one of our regular viewers, little buddy Jet, who is 6 years old this weekend and a regular viewer of the show, and a buddy of mine who I can confirm has been waiting his entire life for a Sharks premiership, unlike you and me, Stephen. And then other than that, I'll just cue down the music to just say, and then shout out also to the characters and individuals involved in the incident in Engadine today. I can't say that I've read up on it a lot, but I'm sure that Steve Mace is probably not welcoming the attention as a hero and more wishing that incident didn't happen at all. So thoughts and prayers to everyone who's involved in that incident, and hope you guys are all feeling better soon. Hopefully the Sharks win this afternoon. Boyd, some enthusiasm as we head into the NRL finals. Franko, you would have enjoyed that one.
It was great. Any win over the Dragons is great, mate. And we got two of them tonight. So, you know what? Bring it on. Bring it home. We're sitting in third place. Whether or not we sit there at the end of the season, I'm not sure. But it was primed for us to lose this game. There was all the typical Sharks hallmarks of why we wouldn't come away victorious, but we got there, and it was pretty resounding. So absolutely happy to get over them, as always. Normally a bit of a spiteful match, but in this scenario, while the Dragons did bring a bit of heat, bit of intensity and feeling, we just ran away with it. Wasn't it a pleasure to see?
It certainly was. Goodness me. It just had you're right, it had all the inklings of it. Oh no, Sharks, you're just going to lose, and the referee moments. Well, look, everyone, let's just say good day to everyone in the comments. So my top 12 has come through saying, third, you beauty. We've got comments from Sonia Quigley saying, surely we've been upgraded to the only child. None of this little brother stuff. Up, indeed. SQDN has come through with a comment saying, up, Cronulla, indeed. Simon says, Viva Las Vegas, baby. It's probably fair. More comments through. And do get your comments in the show, guys. It's just so good to have an interactive show and get your 3, 2, 1s in. Glenn Thompson's come through saying, very satisfying win especially against the Dragons. We definitely own win stadium. How good is the win record coming up with the 9 consecutives? That was just absolutely terrific. Comment through from Ryan, who says, what a win, guys. The only thing better than a derby win is a premiership, and the girls got up as well. Double derby win. That's true indeed. Williams 2.0 calling out girls 1-2 up the hat-trick. We did enjoy that. Geez, they just pumped them. Emma Tonicata, how much of a gun is she?
Kills it.
Just an absolute weapon. Liam Radford's in the comments. No word of a lie. The Sharks' chance at time tonight were deafening. A lot of energy from the Sharks fans that win. Geez, that's good to hear. If anyone was at the game and you want to dial in to the link, please do so. I've put it in the comments up here at the top. You can tell us what happened at the match. Always keen to hear from Sharks fans who were there. Geez, we've got a lot of comments. Scott Latino's come through saying, let's go, boys. Harley remains top of the ET Stand podcast competition for tipping the Sharks. Sharks boys won and the Sharks girls as well. Pete Raw Bissett, great performance. Oregon has improved out of sight this year. We will talk about Oregon Kafusi in a little bit. I just don't notice Oregon Kafusi that much, which means that he's really playing well because he's not making mistakes. His hit-ups are good. Loving on it. Rob Wall, if any of, I think that's in response to Little Jet's birthday, waiting, if any of, and Leone Latino, best birthday present ever, Mama Lats. Oh, yeah, it was also Scott Latino's Mama Lats' birthday too, actually, these past couple of days. Happy birthday to you too, Mama Lats. And Ryan has come through saying Rami and Nicara and Iro were amazing tonight. All right, well, we call them the Franko files because no one talks about the Sharks matches and gives the download the way that Franko does. If you want to know and relive epic Sharks moments, then Franko is the man to take you on the journey as you relive one of the great Sharks victories, as told by one of the great storytellers, Stephen Franklin. Take it away, my friend.
Geez, with an intro like that, there's nothing I can do but fumble the ball. Here we go, lads. In the 6th minute, off a scrum play, Ramian just burned his opposite number for what can only be described as a simple try. He just gets around his opposite number. It was lovely. It was out of the blue. Wasn't expecting something so simple. And it even set off alarm bells. It's like one of those ones where you score too early. You're like, uh-oh, we're gonna slow down after this and take it for granted. But we'll find out that's not really the case. Normally I'd reserve this next one or this segment for tries, but there's a footnote that I'm sure here we will have plenty to talk about and plenty of comments. But around the 16th minute, the Dragons at best knock on, at worst are offside, but instead gather the ball and run 30 metres. Ramian collects a player high and gets sent to the bin, leaving us a man short for the next 10 minutes. I know we were blowing up in the chats, Boldo, and I'm sure there's going to be a few people in our comments here tonight. Thoughts? Was that the same that you saw it? It's pretty blatant in my mind.
We'll get your comments in the comment section and let us know what you think. I just was a bit tough on the Sharks. I think Matty Williams and I were having an argument with each other on our chat when we were actually on the same team, agreeing with each other that we thought that the Sharks had been hard done by. It's just a pretty soft, like certainly a sin bin. Like the Sharks were pumping them until that moment, I thought. And it just turned the match on its head and let the Dragons in. Now, if it's not a head high and it's not a foul play, and let's just say that it's a knock on, then it goes around back to the original infringement. So it just seems another instance of the Sharks getting a little bit hard done by.
Theoretically, it couldn't have been anything other than a Dragons error at that point, because if it's just tackled, so no foul play, if it was just a tackle, there's no stoppage in play and we can't go back and challenge it anyway. So it was just a missed call by the ref, but certainly exacerbated by the fact that we lost a player, 10 in the bin, for an act that probably shouldn't have even happened if the correct call was made 30 metres downfield. So pretty frustrating. In the 22nd minute, obviously a man down, as we've just discussed. Hunt kicks to Lomax, who offloads back to Fayagi, and he grubbers it through with Kennedy a bit slow to come across and cover. Not sure if he was thinking to try and tackle the player instead of making a play for the ball. Was a little bit upsetting to see. However, Fayagi, he regathers his own kick and pushes away from Kennedy as he's being brought down by Wilton. The ball is flicked back on the inside, a bit of a Hail Mary pass, with Bird able to collect it and score against his former club, showing plenty of emotion as he knows all about these derbies. So, bit sad there. Obviously, there's a few people hot and cold on Kennedy. I'm sure, again, probably another hot button topic that we'll get a few comments from today. But that was a bit of an ugly side. It didn't really look good, poor Sharkies. In the 27th minute, last play, with the defence line holding back, expecting a kick, Trindle throws a long ball out to Iro, who steps inside Fayagi, and with nothing but clean air in front of him, is able to dive over and score. Really good little play. Just shows, hard, strong intent from Iro, but also that organisation from Trindle that we were all talking about last week that was maybe just missing in the red zone. 7 minutes out from halftime, Trindle wraps around to be the first receiver with Iro as a decoy runner. He links up with Kennedy. He provides a lovely tip on to Stone Street, who still has plenty of work to do. He steps back inside, wrestles 3 Dragon defenders to get the ball down in the corner, basically breaking a Dragons player in half in the process. It was lovely to see. There at half time, 6 points to 14, massive possession in our favour. I'd say we should have been further in front, but we were also a man down for 10 minutes. So I give that a pass, I suppose. How are you feeling at this stage, Boldo?
I thought we were always in control of that one, and I thought the Dragons were let back in with the Rami and sin bin, but the weight of possession, you just thought that the Sharks were going to get on top of them and could handle it, and there might be a rally for the Dragons, and then the Sharks would just ram it home. So I was confident at halftime, having visions of, all right, well, what does a home playoff look like if we can finish second at that point? So I was pretty confident.
Fair enough. 54th minute, after a mountain of possession with repeat sets and penalties, the Dragons run a wide block play. It has a short and scrambling with them able to get around us, and it was Tui Palutu who gets it down in the corner, almost untouched. Kind of sad. We were sort of defending quite a bit there. It was one of those things that would have liked to have seen us hold them out, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. 3 minutes later, the Sharks strike back, though. Trindle puts up a bomb, which sees Kennedy chasing and leaping high to claim the catch and score under the black dot. This was probably an example of the two being close buddies and playing plenty together in the lower grades, just connecting again for another play that the two of them are ready for. Maybe redeemed Kennedy in some people's eyes, but it was certainly a great sight to behold. And for those watching on Fox, Vossi, as tends to happen with a few people, likened that play to a flying peach going through to score. So it was pretty awesome to see. In the 61st minute,
Franko, was that the best bomb I remember ever seeing the Sharks put up? It was unbelievably good.
I mean, there's been a few good ones.
It was perfect though.
It was pretty good, but I mean,
good. Mitch Healy would be proud of that one.
It was pinpoint. It was nice.
It was good.
It wasn't spectacular though. You know, the Ronaldo Mulatalo play sort of springs to mind, where he sort of made it look better than the bomb might have been, but certainly much more spectacular. But yeah, it's up there. It's a good one, that's for sure. 61st minute, set up for a sweep play, has Nakora running his usual hard line, but instead of hitting the short ball, he picks up an inside pass from Atkinson. He brushes off a Dragons player, steps, brushes off 2 more Dragons attempts, and then scores next to the post. It's just a lovely play, and again, shows how important Nakora is to the Sharkies. He's just absolutely on fire this season, and one of our best. That was awesome.
Every time Nakora does a run like that, I think of you, Franko. Every time I see it, just makes me think of you, and so pleasing because I know how much you always were a fan of Nakora, and so to see him come and be the best second rower in the game now, just it's so good. Great try, Britton. Brilliant.
Wonderful. Yep. In the 67th minute, Trindle jumps into dummy half and goes the blind side. Wilton to Iro, who gets a quick release to Stone Street, who picks it up off his boost laces to score in the corner. Now that pass looked a mile forward, but it wasn't called, so it's a try. Commenters on Fox went all in on the forward pass. 9, not much different, but they were happy to see the try. They were kind of blasé at this stage. However, on one angle, it looked like it could have deflected off of Lomax's wrist. Now, I haven't had enough looks at it to change my mind that it wasn't a forward pass, but maybe if I squint hard enough through my black, white, and blue goggles, I can give it a pinch of doubt. I don't know. Maybe. It's pretty forward.
It's definitely forward. Take your damn black, white, and blue goggles off. And I'll just say this to you, Franko, is that if Talakai was in the centres, it wouldn't have been a forward pass. It would have been backward, and it would have been a try faster because Talakai's hands are good. But
it would have been beauty.
It was fun. And also, it was amusing to see Stone Street on the Matty John show being interviewed, kind of having just taken the mickey out of that whole incident. Yeah, it was backwards. What are you talking about?
It was a good interview. Yeah, I agree. Then 2 minutes out from full time, Hunt fumbles the ball in what is picked up by Brayley. He runs 30 metres and links up with Stone Street, who runs another 30 before being brought down. Could have done something silly, but wraps up the ball and goes down with it. The play of the ball from just inside the left touchline gets 3 wide through Atkinson and Trindle, finding Ramian, who gets the ball out to Hiroti. The last-minute addition, first game for the season, ever dependable, Latino's favourite player, and manages to score in the opposite corner. It was awesome. Sharks taking the victory over the Dragons, 38-10, with Trindle kicking 5 from 7.
Now, I'll just put up the banner across the bottom. Great recap, Franko. Geez, it's just like being there all over again. We've got a whole bunch of viewers in who have come up with comments. So if anyone would like to pose a question or like a discussion point for Franko and me to speak about, Franko and I to speak about, actually, Franko and I to speak about, then do let us know and we can get that into the discussion points. And also, if you would like to join the show, you can click on this link that is here, that is at the top of the comments. If anyone would like to join and have your say, we're going to talk about a few different topics now. How many more wins can the Sharks get? We're going to talk about streaks again. Where does Nico play? And what did we make of Toby? A whole bunch of different other questions as well. Let's get through the remainder of the comments that we had. Adelmo, g'day to you. How you doing? Ramian now probably gets suspended for at least a week. Yep, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
You just don't know with these guys, do you? Sonia comes through with a comment saying Sharkies were definitely following the KISS method again, and as always, simplicity is a thing of beauty. Whilst I think they were playing the keep it simple, stupid. They were slightly different with Trindle. They're definitely playing that move of early ball to the centres and just get the centres one-on-one with their opposite numbers. We saw that with the Ramian try, and we saw that with Iro a few times as well, which is a strategy that I don't mind. However, against the top teams, Stephen Crichton's in top teams, better centres are in the top team, so that strategy doesn't work as much. Liam Radford's through in the comments saying definitely a knock-on in the lead up to that Ramian send-off for 10. Crowd thought it too. Yeah, that's definitely right. Sonia's questioning the consistency of Jesse in the bin. It's like Victor. Jesse will always be an easy target for us. He's a bit of a target now for us, isn't he? G'day, Mike Knight. Much better performance than last week. That is definitely true. And then SJD, did anyone predict Sharks 19 plus? I have a bad memory. I'm pretty sure you predicted a big Sharks win, SJD. And then Sonia's come through with the forward motion Stone Street way to succeed. All right. Well, let's get the first of our callers in who's sitting there in the green room to get his reaction to the Sharks match. Let's get him in. 2.0, Mr. Chris Williams, who's a regular dial-in and contributor. So if you want to be a legend like Chris and dial in regularly on the ET stand, have your say, you can just click on that link. And we just know that he is going to talk up Stone Street. So we'll just warning, he's going to talk up Stone Street and then we'll probably talk up Brayley. So let's get him in. 2.0. You must be pretty happy after that one.
I don't think happy describes it, mate. That was an outstanding performance. Outstanding from the start to finish. Like, I was never worried about that game during the game. Worried before game because, you know, you have Nico out, you got the wingers out, you've got Talakai out. They were never in at the Dragons. For a team that's fighting for 8th, it's pretty funny, isn't it? That kind of performance you dish up in front of your home crowd. You can see from the first set, we just rolled straight through them. There was no line speed from them. There was no nothing from them. And to be fair, when it got to 14-10, they were lucky to be that close.
Yeah, I think that's right. Certainly the fitness came through. Franko, did you see that? With the Sharks just fitter? Like, we're missing our top 4 guys. Like, you could argue Nico, Talakai, Ronaldo Mulatalo, and Sione Katoa. They've been top 4 of Boldo's tiers previously. Like,
yeah, I mean,
is it as simple as fitness?
If you translate fitness to energy, we certainly had a lot more pep than the Dragons did. We were faster on them, quicker. It was just a powerful game from us. So yeah, for sure, fitter. That fits.
2.0. What'd you make of? Let's talk about the coach. I think the rotation. I think he got it correct tonight. I was looking at the numbers. What do we have? McInnes got 50 or so minutes, 56 minutes. Then you had 45 for Rudolph, 37 for Kafusi, Jack Williams 40, Royce Hunt 17, Ueli 22, and Hazelton 32. That just seems the right rotation. What did you make of the rotation of the forwards?
Well, forget the minutes for a second. I'm on NRL.com at the moment. All starting 13 bar Braden Trindle ran for over 100 metres. That says enough as it is. Absolutely ran through them, rampant. Even Hiroti, I think, got he's down the bottom somewhere. 10 runs, 103 metres. So when that backline depth is incredible at the moment. You can get Ronaldo, he starts every week. My question is this. The Stone Street start ahead of Katoa due to the high ball. He's pretty safe under there. Katoa's been known to drop the ball, and I'm not saying this year. Moving forward, though, I think you're more safe. Even though Katoa, I love Katoa, but it's a good question to have. Stone Street's more safe under the high ball. I'm not blowing him up just because of the headline I've got. He's got 8 tries in 4 games now. Should have had 10 tries if he didn't blow 2 hat-tricks.
Well, who blew those hat-tricks? I'm not so sure that was his fault.
Well, I think tonight was.
Let's get it in the comments. Let's get it in the comments. Let us know. Should Stone Street start over Sione Katoa? Is there any scenario where that happens? Get that into the comments and give us the answer. Franko, I'll get you to answer that, and then I'll give my perspective.
No, absolutely not. What garbage. That said, Stone Street certainly has shown that he is very capable. He would not let us down, or has not let us down in first grade. Obviously, the sample size is a bit small to be saying that he's safer than Katoa. But the fact is that Katoa and Multalo have proven to be a key wing pair and absolutely amazing for the Sharks. Not only this season, but consistently for about the last 3 seasons. Stone Street will probably get in there at some stage and be a permanent starter, but really he didn't. I mean, look, yes, he got 117 meters, but a couple of those were from some breaks. He didn't really seem to get that same power run game from the back end. And try and get our sets off to a good start. He was certainly there. You know what I do think that was great from him, and I will give him full credit for that. He was everywhere in terms of trying to back up. Any time there was maybe a half break, he was sprinting to try and catch up to that. That was really good effort plays that I like to see. I think he's absolutely would not be sad to see him in there. And as can happen, right, in replacing injuries, you have a couple of players that you think are irreplaceable. And you know what? I would have thought that Katoa and Mulitalo were irreplaceable. I think they were key cogs. I've even cited a couple of seasons ago where Katoa went down scoring that try off the scrum play and was out for the rest of the season. And our season kind of fell apart off the back of that. We really missed him trying to find a replacement. In this scenario, I don't think we have that same problem, right? Stone Street, next man up. We are not going to miss a beat. And that's good. That's really good. So no, full credit to him. He's going to be nipping at the heels of one of them. That if they do have a couple of bad games, it's going to be a different conversation than in the past.
I think those Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulitalo have got enough runs on the board that even a couple of bad games would not be enough for them to get dropped. Stone Street, unfortunately for him, is playing for the team that has the best wing and combination in the NRL. And so he's probably reaping the benefits of that from what he's seeing in training. So I say that's a 66% Katoa, 33% vote to Stone Street, which I think is also backed up by the comments. Rob Valensky's come in saying Katoa was better than Stone Street. And then, look, Ryan's come through and said long-term, I agree, Stone Street maybe next year or 26. He should be our second choice winger behind Mulitalo. We'll see. And then our old friend Paul's come through saying Stone Street for me. He has 2 things Katoa hasn't got: height under the high ball and pure speed. So Katoa's too mistake-ridden. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. Actually, look, new information's coming through. The comments are saying maybe it's time to move Katoa on. He's a great servant in the club, but he's not going to get dropped. They're both first graders in their own right. Well, this is true. It's good, certainly a good problem to have. I would certainly run with Katoa. Tomo's come through. Keep Katoa for now. All right, perfect. All right, well, let's talk about this comment's just come in through from Rob. Brayley for PM. Blake Brayley had a terrific match tonight. 81 minutes, lots of runs. Geez, he was nippy out of dummy half, setting up a whole bunch of stuff. That pass to Stone Street to try and set up that try. It's a shame that he didn't kind of loop in and around later. 2.0, Brayley, what's your take after tonight's match?
That one for Paul? Should we leave it for Paulie to have a talk about?
Paul, what did you think?
No, I think, I'll get in early. He's my man of the match tonight, easily.
Yep.
You could give it to a few people, but I think the way he defended, the way he got out of dummy half, the way he just orchestrated the attack was phenomenal. And yeah, for him being crap from a few weeks ago, what Paul said, he started stepping up, and I think he's in career best form easily.
Franko, what was your take on our man Blake?
He was great, absolutely great. I don't know which telecast our viewers were watching, but if you were watching Fox, Ennis was absolutely loving him.
Raving.
Yeah. So, he was really good. He was in everything, as always, very strong in defense, great service, nipping out, got good meters, really kept the markers honest, which gave our engine room a bit more space than they might have otherwise. That's something we've been maybe complaining about a little bit in the past. Certainly did that this time. If there was one negative I'll have, it's that. And look, he's in the middle. He does a mountain of work. And one of the ways that he conserves some energy is at the start of our sets, he is slow to get back on side to then take the ball, right? And that's fine. Obviously that's something that the team have worked at to go, okay, this is how we keep you fit. This is how we keep you energized for the game. You get a breather as the outside backs work it through to 30, and then you're on side, and then you can take it from there. However, that said, the last fortnight where he has had the *7 on his back, he made it his mission to get back on side quicker and play the ball from inside our own 20. And I really felt that when he was doing that, we were looking better. We were a bit more organized. And now knowing that he can do it, I wouldn't mind seeing him do that more. Maybe in the bigger games, we might see him, see the urgency of doing it. And like I said, it works. We're in front the whole time. So reserve your energies and do what works. But that's the one thing I'd like to maybe see him maybe mix it up. So at certain points where, the ebb and flow of the game, just pick a point and go, okay, this time I'm getting back on side earlier. I'm setting the standards here, and away we go. But yeah, mammoth game from him. He was really good.
Yeah, there's a bit more love for Blake Brayley tonight. And had a ripper tonight from Brad Lewis in the comments. And then Brad's come out and challenged Brayley and said, let's see if he can be consistent. And I'm going to challenge you, Brayley. Let's see how you can do in a final series. Let's see if you can really turn it on and where you can go, and if you can be a form player heading into the final series. 2.0, who is your 3-2-1 man of the match performance? What was your key take on that?
As I said, Brayley 3, easily. I think he was everywhere tonight. And just going back to what Franko said about him, a lot of nines do that now because you don't have that. When you kicked it out before, you used to have a scrum and you could walk to the scrum and chill out, and they don't have that anymore. They just go straight to the 10. So with our back five, especially running out is crucial for to get everyone on side, even the big front rowers. So, but yeah, Browse, I think he was faultless tonight. I can't see anything that causes too much concern. 2, I'm going to give to Britt Nakora. I thought he was damaging all night. He led it from the start too. As soon as he got the ball, he's bending him back. He scored a beautiful try, cutting back in. Just kept. There was all this talk about Leilua before the game. They had to start him from the bench because he must have been shitting himself. I don't think any of their second rows. I'd say Su'a would probably only forward at getting to our team, and he might make the bench. But other than that, I think Britain was the best back rower / forward on the ground, apart from Browse. And 1, I'm going to give it to Jesse, despite the sin binning. I thought he smashed whoever he was. That try he scored against Fiona made him look like an absolute A grader. And he was strong in his carries. Does he deserve to go to the bin? Probably. Should he have done? Probably not, because of the dock on and that in the lead up. No, Jesse's. He's now. I said it last week that the Gallon Porter medal was between Hunt and Talakai this year. I think Jesse's putting his hand up for it too. I think he's been that strong in the last 6 to 8 weeks that he's up to almost 200 meters again tonight, and that's with 10 minutes off the field. So
100, yeah, crazy.
He's absolutely, and I don't know how many. I can't see. It says line breaks too. I don't know how many tackle busts he got, but he must have had a few.
Well, you're certainly very good, Robs. Completely agreeing with you there. 2.0, agreeing on the 3-2-1. If you've want to get your 3-2-1 into the comments, please do so. 2.0, before we let you go, anything else you want to comment on the game? Free hit, free commentary?
I know I'm usually pretty good at swearing, but suck shit, Flanner. Like, matter shit you want to talk.
2 you've done now.
Yeah, I don't care, mate. Like, suck it in. Like, the first game, it was, we're due up for this. It's like, you know, they haven't won a premiership since I've been there, blah, blah, blah. And then last week, he forgot he was playing. You remember us now? Shut the hell up. I hope they get smacked out of the finals, mate. I hope someone comes through and just knocks them out of the finals, because that would be beautiful.
Just as an FYI, Williams, he was interviewed prior to the game on Channel 9, and he was asked if he had a soft spot for the Sharks, and he said, yeah, he does. He still loves the Sharks.
No one does.
No, maybe not. But you know what? I'm always happy to hear someone who's moved on to another club still enjoying the Sharkies.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't so much the he forgot who we played this week. I know that was tongue in cheek, but that first game when he was over won a comp since 2016. Well, neither of you, because you've been sitting on the sidelines because you broke the rules, mate. So shut the hell up. Like, we've moved on, you've moved on. Get on with it. And that's 2 from 2 against them this year, so I'm happy with it.
Take that.
Well, I don't expect to see the Dragons again. Actually, I think they'll bow out.
Oh, he said in his press conference tonight that, what if you guys meet the Sharks in the final, we wipe the form clean? And he goes, I think we've got a fair bit to think about before that happens. Yeah, mate, how about you make the finals first?
I think that's a good answer. All right, Mr. Williams 2.0. Well, thanks for dropping by. Always a pleasure having you drop by, and it's always fun seeing people come in and say good day. So, mate, we'll see you next time. And you've been in good form lately because the Sharks have been winning. So I'd hate to see what you look like when the Sharks lose. So,
he was talking about the cops, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, mate, we'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.
Cheers, boys.
All right, if you want to be a legend like Williams 2.0 and join the ET Stand podcast, you can do so by clicking on that link, which is in the top of the comments. I'll leave it there just for a second. And then a comment has just come through that I'm going to throw to you. Where it is, this comment from Brad Lewis. It says, boys, do you think it seems like we are peaking at the right time? We started on fire, then we had a decent decline, but now it seems like we are really peaking at the right time.
I'm going to say that it is better than the previous 2 seasons. So if you think we did well the last 2 seasons, both of those seasons there were some deficiencies, we'll say, where the narrative was that that's okay, we're working on that, come finals time, we'll have fixed it, and away we go. Now, I'm not saying we're perfect, but there's not as many glaring concerns with the team right now. So, yeah, I'd say we're peaking at the right time. There's only a couple of games now before finals. You couldn't get it much better. Look at the other teams, barring the Panthers, but they've got a key injury. The other teams are starting to hit their strides, and so are we. The only concern that I have, and we have spoken about it, I think it was on one of our Tuesday night shows, is that there is changes to be had with our team before finals. Hines is going to get better. He's going to come in. He's a key spine player. He plays differently to Atkinson, and that could change the way we play. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is an unknown, and that could be very interesting. Hopefully it's a positive thing, but it's certainly an unknown. But yeah, we're hitting our strides. It's good. I'm loving it.
Yeah, certainly. If you look at the players who are coming back into the team, you've got Nico Hines. You've got Sifa Talakai coming back next week. You've got the 2 absolute gun wingers. You've got Ueli and Rudolph, who are playing better pretty much every single week. And then you've got Blake Brayley and Britton Nikora, who are both in form. And you'd argue Daniel Atkinson is also in form. And Trindle was pretty good tonight as well. And then you put Ramey in with them. It's a pretty barnstorming Sharks team. Now, expectation alert. Guys, we've been through this before. We know. We know what can happen. We're going to build ourselves up, Buttercup. You like have a strong performance week 1. We'll somehow lose. We'll win week 2. And then we're like, oh, yeah, we're going all the way. And then we'll play the Storm or the Panthers and we'll lose. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It's going to take a lot for the Sharkies to win, but I think we are peaking at the right time. And I think Fitzgibbon's just a bit smarter this time around. Franco is what how I take on him as well. Now let's get through some of these comments before I'm going to ask you about Nicho Hynes, Franco, because we said even if they win every match without Nicho, he still goes straight back into the team. Now that is actually on the board. It is possible that they win every match. I wouldn't have said it before, but we play the Warriors next week and Nicho could be back the week after. So it is certainly on the board. And so as we hit through some comments, Tomo's come through. Think about that, Franco, whilst I get through the comments. Tomo's come through saying, Brad, don't talk about peaking at the right time. It's up there with streaks. Sorry. I just said streak. Sorry, Tomo. And then we've had a few comments back on the Flano stuff. We'll come back to those at the end. Yeah, Franco, let's throw to you on Nicho Hynes. He's straight in. He's straight back in at halfback. Anyone who thinks he's not playing halfback in the finals week 1, you're dreaming.
He's straight in.
Straight in.
It's a fun thread pull. It's a nice hypothetical to discuss and debate. I think even the Fox Sports guys were talking about it in the game today. But look, he's our star playmaker. He's going to be better and better. I think he's straight in. Like I said, I would have preferred if he came in earlier than say week 1 of the finals, but he's in, and it really becomes more a question of does his inclusion exclude Atkinson? Now, does Atkinson go to the bench for a scenario where maybe the injury reoccurs, or he's a bit rusty and we need some extra help out there? But I think it's going to be a brave man to mess up that bench rotation with a utility. Correct. Unless necessary. So unfortunately, I think Atkinson is 18th man with Nicho straight in, and it would probably be a really brave call from anyone to do otherwise.
Well, if you're playing Atkinson as in the 17 and you're changing the forward rotation, it means that you're suddenly asking Royce Hunt, Hamlin Ueli and Tommy to double their minutes, really. And the impact of Royce Hunt and Braden Hamlin Ueli when they don't have to do massive minutes. You get Braden Hamlin Ueli on just doing 22 minutes. That is like Sam Tagatese stuff. But we saw the impact of how good Tagatese was in the 2016 season, not having to play big minutes. So I'd be reluctant. I think Atkinson, unfortunately, you are going to play 18th man. And if something happens to the team and he gets called in, then I think we'll be fine. That's what's going to happen.
And also, that bench that you just named doesn't have Talakai.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So
yeah, just looking at that bench now with Williams. Well, you'd think Talakai. Goodness me, we talked about this last week. In the comments, Talakai's back into the forward lineup next week. Who drops off? Jack Williams, Royce Hunt, Hamlin Ueli, or Big Tommy? Royce Hunt only played 17 minutes tonight, but Royce has been our best forward.
There was a lot of question marks around Wilton or Talakai as well, right? But Wilton had a pretty strong game tonight. So,
well, you saw him talking about the leading the team at the halftime talk, firing them up. So there's a lot to like about this Sharks team at the moment, but just going to say it again. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We'll play the video of me post 2015 getting all upset. All right. Well, look, let's hit through some of these players that we've not talked to tonight. Let's talk about Kale Iro, constant point of contention on this show. I thought he was good, but he had some bad moments, Franko.
Mm-hmm.
Bad, ill discipline on that Lomax stuff with that grubby, rubbing him on the head stuff. That he was taken over the sideline where he was a bit, not great. There was a moment where I was thinking, if Talakai was in the centres there, he has better hands. I'm just looking at my notes here. I was really on the rampage. I was going to go for it on Hero. And then I was like, why didn't he ground the ball, you buffhead? How does that even happen? And then I write next line, well, we know how that happens because they pushed him off the ball. So that was good. And then he did have the forward pass for Stone Street, but he certainly got the meters. What's your take on Hero's performance tonight?
Yeah, look, Paul, one of our regular commenters, is going to jump at you for this one, but he's probably going to jump at me as well because you've given me a soft pass here. And you know what? Hero had a great game tonight. He had a really strong game. Was immense in defence. Was great in carting the ball out of our end zone and really hit hard. But yeah, there was about 2 or 3 times where we were attacking their defense. They were retreating. Stone Street was open, obviously the faster player, probably the fastest in our team, and Hero didn't give him the ball when he could have just popped it out and Stone Street would have been away. Whether he scores or not is debatable because a lot of those times were sort of in our half or at the halfway line. But we've seen that work with Talakai and Ronaldo. In this scenario, it was just begging to happen and it wasn't even an option. Hero sort of tucked it in and ran with it. The other one was the basketball pass over the top, which could have been Stone Street's hat trick, but it was sort of flummoxed. So that was pretty sad. And I will say, I'm going to need to go back through the tape for the last however many rounds, but he's got a little bit of the Phil Baileys about him. Right? Any kick for touch?
What do you mean by the Phil Baileys? What you mean? He never doesn't pass the ball to Nigel Wagner?
Never doesn't pass the ball, but also the big one for me is any time we kick for touch and the ball gets passed into him, he's going to tap and run it. It's not going to be any other play than him tapping and running it. And that's just like a Phil Bailey special. So yeah, I think great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm certainly giving it a bit of a stick because look, his first, we'll call it a full season, right? He obviously wasn't there for the start, but this is arguably a full season for Hero. A season where at the beginning there were people saying he's not ready, he's not defensively sound, he hasn't got this, he's this deficient, but he keeps getting better and better and better. And look, Ramian still doesn't have a great pass, right? But everyone's loving what he does. So let's see what happens. He's got time. He's still young. To develop a pass is doable, right? It's a trainable skill. It's nothing like speed. So let's see what he's got. He's only going to get better.
All right, a couple of comments through on our good man Kale Hero. Paul comes through saying, "See Hero's defense, a word Talakai doesn't know the meaning of." I think he knows the meaning of. I think he's just trying to work out exactly what the definition of defense is there, Paul. I think that's right. I think Hero's defense as a centre is pretty important. And if you look at the way the Sharks like to attack, which is to get the centre's early ball, then Hero is better placed for that sideways movement for those defensive moments. And so it's like the Oregon Kaufusi thing tonight. I didn't notice Kaufusi that much because he didn't make any errors and his runs were good and there was no reason not to believe in him. So I think you're right. Kale Hero is the centre with Jesse Ramian at the moment. But look, sometimes different horses for courses. And yeah, I'm still lamenting. Oh, I still love Talakai. He's just an absolute beast. And then Adelmo comes through saying, I have a theory that Hero has trouble passing from right to left. A couple of forward passes this year and takes too long getting the ball to his winger. He might be a right centre and not know it. Not a bad idea. Maybe he should get into training. Maybe that's hopefully SJD, Coach Fitzgibbon. Hopefully you're watching this. All right, Franko, let's talk about Braden Trindle. I thought he was pretty good tonight. What did you make of Trindle?
He was very good. I was holding my breath in a lot of moments there, hoping his hamstring didn't snap. But he really just, at this stage, he just knows what he wants to do. He's pretty determined. He's pretty clear-sighted. There's not a lot of indecision in what he does, and it's very different to the Trindle we saw earlier on in the season, especially last season. Now, when he came in and had that absolute fire of a game for the All-Stars, everyone was really happy, and we're starting to see that now for the Sharks. He's just calling for it. He's running where he wants. He's kicking, passing. He's getting players where he needs them to be. And I think it's just possibly one of those things that is what's causing a little bit of disruption when Nick goes there, right? They're both strong callers of the ball, and Brayley needs to pick someone to hit. And maybe that's affecting Brayley's game as well, right? When, seeing the strength of Brayley with Nico out as well, is trying to step up. But yeah, Trindle's doing really well. He's just knows where he wants to go. He's got that connection with Kennedy. I think is very important, because we saw that Kennedy was immense under Moylan, and probably hasn't been the same without Moylan. But his connection with Trindle is probably getting stronger, but is starting from a high base, and so that's good.
Moylan was good in attack, Franko. Like that was all. That was Moylan's move. He had the hands, he had the speed, the touch footy style stuff. Moylan was he was a gun at that.
I think one of the problems is we don't have anyone straightening up the attack in those sweep plays anymore. It's either a block play or everyone keeps sliding sideways. It's rare that we get that straight hard runner. I think Talakai maybe does it more often than anyone else. It seems funny to say because we know that's what Eero does, but yeah, everyone just sort of seems to be going sideways, and that could be the thing that's causing a bit of grief there. But no, I think he's really good. We saw what it was like last week. Ignoring the fact that the Brayley and Atkinson experiment has been reaping the rewards. Last week against the Knights, a lower ranked team, we should have put a score on them, and there were times there that we just looked rudderless, and I think that was gone this game. With Trindle.
Yeah, that was gone this game. Like it was certainly time for Trindle to come back. That's definitely true. That's certainly true. A couple of fun things from the game I noticed. Wade Graham and a few Sharks legends were clapping out the boys before the match. If anyone was at the game, can you tell us the score of the classic touch footy match and confirm who the other players were? I could only really pick out Wade Graham on the TV that I was watching. I didn't actually get down to the game because thanks to the 3 people that reached out to me and asked me how I was with my injured hamstring. That's why, for anyone out there, that is one of the reasons I like Matt Moylan, is because I have hamstring problems and I can feel his pain. Now, I've got another question for you. Jack Bird in today's match was the first try scorer and was a serial pest. Is Jack Bird, and answer this in the comments, please, is Jack Bird now the most unpopular player from the starting team from the 2016 Premiership? Is he the most disliked? And I would say of the 13 players that started that match, and I've got it over here on my little thing. I would say the answer to that is yes. Jack Bird, you are a pest. I'm glad you lost. Franko, what's your reaction?
Can't hate anyone that got us the Premiership. Are you kidding me?
Bullhead.
Come on. How good. He was playing with one arm. He was in it. No. No. You know what?
In the comments, do you agree with me? Jack Bird's a bullhead, or do you still love him?
Look, let's be real. You are still comparing him, and I'll preface this with, I can't hate anyone that got us the trophy. I just can't do it. But
I'm getting hammered here in the comments.
You're comparing him to Holmes, who ditched us for the NFL, broke contract, went on the Cowboys, then kicked a golden point win and knocked us out of the finals. you're comparing him to Townsend, who a lot of people were kind of not a great fan of even when he was playing with us. No, look, I love all our premiership players. Jack Bird's an absolute legend. I will say, I feel for Jack Bird. Like his body, he is going to be wrecked for his life. He has just that arthritic condition that he's got, the punish he's putting himself through to play the game we love is just immense. And he is going to have a lot of aches and pains in the later part of his life. And I'm just glad that he can share the blame with other clubs and it's not all the Sharks' fault.
And we got the best
Legend.
year. We got the best year out of Jack Bird.
We got the best year, correct.
All right. I don't think I've just been soundly hammered by Glenn Thompson. No, we want a premiership with him up there with Flano. All right. Matt Williams comes through, of course, not none of dislikable. That's unsharked. Boldo. Paul's come through saying one thing about Bird, he's not a 5'8", but still a Sharks legend forever. Peter Hall comes through saying 2016 historic team, don't bag him, but at least you, Nathan Hunt, is backing me up saying he was a pain in the ass. That's right, Nathan. He was a bit of a pain in the ass. But yeah, it's just a shame those premiership winning players that they're not with us. Can someone in the comments tell me what was in the inhaler stuff that Ronaldo was dishing out? What's that stuff? Do you know what that is, Franko?
It's to clear the nasal passage. It's like vapor rub, Vicks vapor rub or whatever to clear the passageway so you can breathe clearly while you're running around.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Yeah, I guess that is the answer. I'm glad you knew what it was. It looked like some sort of, I don't know what was going on there. All right, let's chat through some more of the players. I thought Jack Williams was very brutal in his defense tonight, and apparently one of us has an agenda on the ET Stand podcast to get someone had warned us and said, yeah, why don't you guys stop bagging Jack Williams? I'm sitting there going, which one of us bags Jack Williams? So if you can tell me which one of us bags Jack Williams, that would be certainly helpful, because I thought his defense was really strong tonight. What'd you make of Jack, Franko?
Yeah, Jack was great. You know, everyone normally calls him out for errors or something, but he was pretty clean tonight. The only thing I will say, and I didn't get a chance to answer, you were talking with 2.0 about this and the coach and his game. I kind of feel as though the bench might have been a little bit scripted, and it's forgivable when you're in front as we were. But there was just a moment where with Williams and Hazelton on, right there, where we just started to look as though just about the 25 minutes to go, just started to look as though we were losing a bit. Dragons were starting to match us set for set. Thought we could have maybe made a change there. I think it was, coach was looking for that 20-minute mark to bring on Rudolph and Kafusi. So just a fitness thing, I guess. Obviously with Hazelton, he was immense in terms of tackles, so maybe that's where his juice got sapped. But no, like you said at the top of the call, right? There was nothing bad from Kafusi, so you didn't really notice him. Williams was kind of the same, except he was a monster in defence. So I would say that he did his job. He was good. My guess is that CK was the guy bagging out Williams, because in your comment earlier about who does Talakai replace, I think he was dropping Williams.
That's right. All right, you've been put on notice, Chris Kelly. Now, we do know an agenda which is held by a panelist on this podcast, and we all know who this was. Cameron McInnes tonight was guilty of giving away 2 penalties. He played more minutes tonight. I thought it was a better performance from him as well, but I just hate it how he's given away the penalties. Franko, am I right to be frustrated with Cam? Or am I just...
I mean, look, in the heat of the moment, you're always right to be frustrated, whether it's a penalty or an error or ill discipline. But look, he plays hard. He puts in every moment. This day and age with the wrestle and players slipping, it's easy for things to go awry. He's got that sort of tackle technique where you reach over the ball and it can go wrong. It's a shame, but you know what? I'd rather him do that than hold himself back and maybe be a little bit more timid or slow to connect and let someone through. So it's fine. good with the bad in this scenario. I think he puts his heart into everything, so it's fine.
Sharks 28 defeated the Dragons 4 in the NRLW with tries to Penatani, Davis Welsh, Ravex, Penatani again, Byers, and Ravex got a double as well. As we were preparing for this show, we didn't get there, didn't quite watch the end of it was literally the Emma Tonegado show, the NRLW this week. What an absolute beast. How good was that try that she scored that was disallowed? That was like so good. Congratulations to the Sharks NRLW team. Any commentary? Top of the ladder, 4 points clear as well. How good?
Yeah. So I mean, I hate to be a naysayer a little bit, but it's like this is what I expected last season. So, a few tweaks, a little bit more experience under the belt, and we're where we should be, right? We all know that the Sharks were pioneers in the women's game, signing the first female contracted player, pushing hard to get in the inaugural season, being dudded as far as I'm concerned. We're finally in. We've got a great junior nursery of female players, and I think we should be contenders every season. And this season, not only are we contenders, we are just looking better than the competition. It's great.
Yeah, so based on where the ladder is sitting now for the NRLW, if the girls win, 2 more matches, that would put them with the for and against differential they've got. They're 54 to the Broncos 48. 2 wins out of the last 4. If the Broncos win out, would not be enough to guarantee. I think they need to win 3 of the next 4 to be guaranteed the minor premiership. And the for and against in the girls' game, given the fewer number of games and the fewer field goals, makes the for and against more important. Sorry, Matthew Williams. So, look, they're pretty good shot of playing the finals. You would think the Sharkies NRLW team, they just look fitter for mine. They're just fitter. Like I think the whole club just seems to be fitter at the moment, going into the right time. So, congratulations to the NRLW team. We'll certainly talk about them more during the week when we have other episodes. And we also have a comment here through from Peter Hall saying, given that we have no injuries, what are your starting lineups for week 1 of the finals? Now, Pete, I've been trying to get our show to do this segment and question for a couple of weeks now, and I've been shot down by my fellow panelists saying it's not a good idea, let's do it soon. So you, Peter Hall, we are going to do that as a segment on the Tuesday night show, Franko, because the fans have asked, and we on the ET stand, that's what we do. We deliver.
Fine.
We'll do it. We'll do it this week. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button to get notified of all of the videos that we have coming up. We've got a big end of season plan on the ET stand. We've got a couple of special guest interviews coming up. We've got opposition fan previews. We did an opposition fan preview this week with the Jack from the Red V podcast. He was terrifically insightful, but wrong that the Dragons didn't win. So we try to do that every single week. We've got all the Chronicles videos. We've got the debriefs. So we've got a whole bunch of content coming out. So do hit the subscribe button. You just hit the little bell, hit subscribe, and you get notified of all the videos as we've got stuff coming out. And then Franko and I have got a few more things planned for the off season. So please do it, because it helps us also notify to other Sharks fans all of our content as well. And for anyone on the audio only channels, do give this podcast a follow on your respective and relevant channels. Let's get into the 3-2-1s. And if you haven't got your 3-2-1s into the comments, please get them into the comments now. Franko, your 3-2-1 for the match. Who was your man of the match?
Geez, can I say Klein was my man of the match for saving a try? How good was that? Hunt to Klein to reset the play.
It was a forward pass.
Well, I know they called it. I didn't
It was a
see
forward
the forward pass. But yeah, it was. We saw what happened when we did it through a forward pass. So try time. So we'll
match was over by the time that happened. That didn't make any difference.
Didn't make any difference, but it was still fun to see Klein getting in the way, and always a bit of fun, especially when you are not the disadvantaged team. So that was good. But my 3-2-1. I'm going to give 1 point to Trindle. I thought, like I said, the team looked a lot better structured today. I thought we were were running the right lines, players in position. It just looked better with Trindle there. So he had a great game as well. So I'm giving him the 1 point. I'm gonna give look, probably Kafusi is gonna get my 2. Now he just looks bigger on the field. So I don't know if he's been working hard or just the nutrition of a season is building him up, but he's just looking bigger and stronger and fitter than he was 6 rounds ago, and he's making the most of it. He's looking for those offloads every time. He got 7 offloads this game, and they're good offloads too. One of them went to ground this game, but more than not, they hit their mark, and it improves the position. He's just doing really well. And my 3 points, Nikora, of course.
I can't believe there was a discussion about this. You didn't even name the player that I'm going to give my 3 to, but all right, fair enough. Nikora, fair enough. Okay, cool. Nikora, the 3.
Doesn't need to be said. Nikora gets it.
All right, fair enough. Let's go through. We've had a few votes come through. Peter Hall's come through saying 3 for Brayley, 2 for Nikora, 1 for Atco. Tomo's come through saying 3 for Brails, 2 for Nikora, 1 for Kafusi. Scott Latino saying man of the match, Brayley, Nikora 2 and 1 point, not Hiroti. And then Adelmo's come through saying 3 for Nikora, 2 for Brayley, 1 for Toby. We haven't touched on Toby. Toby was the player who didn't back up when Kennedy missed the kick for that. What was it? The first or second Dragons try? The one where
that was the first Dragons try.
Yeah, the first Dragons try. It was Rudolph who should have been backing up to tackle that player. He was the one that was shown. So that's why Rudolph doesn't get a look in for mine. You think it's what was your take on Toby, Franko?
Nah, he's good. He's strong. He's playing fit. I don't know how they're managing his toe. It's obviously still a bit buggered, but he's doing something with his workloads because he certainly turned a corner a couple of weeks ago, and normally have a few ebbs and flows, but he's doing really well. I guess from that comment earlier about are we peaking at the right time? Hopefully, in terms of his toe and his fitness, that continues and it doesn't hit a roadblock. But he's doing really well. We definitely had a strong start this game, and that was with Toby and Kafusi on the field, and we had a strong end with Toby and Kafusi on the field. They are doing what they need to do for us, and it just shows that during our what was it, 9 run where we 9 win, whatever, you couldn't tell the difference between the bench and the starters. Like, we were just on par. Now it is clear that the starters are better in terms of intent and strength and whatnot, and the benchies are impact. Like, Hunt comes on, he's a wrecking ball, he's in everything, but it's a stint. Ueli, a little bit to be seen, and I feel that Hazelton, he just doesn't have that same consistent peak through the match. He's sort of a little bit in and out at the moment. And I don't know if that's still because of his illness that he had, but he doesn't have that same strength. You do notice now the difference between the bench and the starting team. So, you know what? I'm sure that the difference there will get closer and shrink. But at this stage, the 2 starting props they're killing it.
All right, Scooter's come through, giving 3 points to Brayley, 2 to Nikora, and 1 to Kafusi. And I'm going to say Matthew Williams has given 3 to Brayley, 2 to Nikora, and 1 to Trindle. And I'm going to say, Williams, you are spot on and correct. I would say 3 points to Brayley tonight. I thought he was terrific running from dummy half, led from the front. He is our form player at the moment. Absolute gun work. Blake Brayley, Britt Nikora, always dangerous. Those angled runs and that try and some of those effort plays were just terrific. How good was that play at the end of the match when the kick went over and he just came from absolutely nowhere to bat the ball out, just showing how important for and against is, because he clearly cares about it. And then lastly, Trindle, back to the point on the team looks so much organised. It's better organised with Trindle out in the field. Great kicking game. Took the pressure off Atkinson. And now allowed Atkinson to get some running. We're close to wrapping it up, Franko, for this episode of the debrief. As customary, free hit for you. Anything that we've missed or not talked about, or if there's anything in the comments you would like us to talk about or touch on, please let us know. Franko, anything we missed?
Yeah, I do have a couple of things. Always, of course.
Always.
I feel as though you touched on the Eero forearm that lost our repeat set. The ensuing scuffle, Stone Street's got to be a little bit careful. Some of the interactions there were awfully close to a headbutt. So I think he's just got to, rein it in a bit. We all love a bit of emotion, but you got to be careful. I'm sure he'll get that right, but there was a little bit of a hold your breath moment. Hopefully they don't think that that's something more than it is. The Ramian crab was in full effect today. Now, it is crazy to think that he made 184 meters with 10 in the bin. He'd have made 300 meters if they counted his sideways motion, because he was left to right, and it was driving me bonkers. And I just feel that against better teams, he's going to get smothered, and that's just going to lead to nothing. So I'd like to see a little bit more direct play from him. Hopefully that's just because the Dragons had a scattered defensive line and he was looking for an opening. But yeah, less crab-like, Ramian. That would be appreciated. Thanks. And then finally from me, we've been giving him a lot of praise, and you know what? His running game is his strength, but there was a few moments tonight where I felt that Atkinson had a bit of white line fever. I thought that he should have passed instead of trying to step and go or duck under to get to the try line. There was a couple of moments where the play was on and he took it himself. Again, you know what? At least he hits it hard. He wasn't sort of in two camps when he did it. He made a decision, went for it, so I'll take it. But there was a couple of moments there where I thought, oh, Atkinson, maybe you would have taken the other option there, buddy. But again, he's only a few games into his NRL career as a playmaker. He'll learn. He's doing well.
I like Atkinson's running game, Franko. He's just dangerous. It's just an option. And that's what we've seen with Blake Brayley running the ball a little bit more. It's something that they just have to think about and be wary of. So certainly seeing Blake Brayley run it has certainly been very, very welcome. All right. Well, that was the debrief for the Sharks 38, Dragons 10. I'll just cue up the music there. I just pressed the A button, Franko. I just stuffed that up in the recording. Look, we can't all be perfect as we fire up the Sharks song again. All right, so that was the Sharks 38 defeating the Dragons 10. Next week, the Sharkies play, what is it, Saturday night, 7:30, I think is the time.
I'll tell you exactly if you give me a moment.
Sharks play the Warriors next week in Sean Johnson's second last match ever.
7:35 p.m.
7:35. Coming up this week on the ET stand, we have a Chronicles episode, which I think you're on this week, Franko, with Matty Williams doing the... Do you know which match you're doing?
I do, but it's a secret. Also known as I don't really know what match it is.
It's a secret. So you can tune in the next couple of days. There will be a video with Franko and Matty Williams going through a past match of the Sharks defeating the New Zealand or Auckland Warriors. I assume that'll be a home match, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll have our regular Tuesday night show where we'll answer some of those questions that we didn't get a chance to answer tonight, including what we think the final team will be. There we go. Matty Williams has come through saying it is the 2012 match with Jeffrey Robertson featuring prominently. Oh, that'll be a good fun one. That's true. We also have an interview this week on the ET Stand podcast that I'm not going to reveal who it is, but I will say he will be ready 1, 2, 3. There's the hint. So if anyone who knows who that is, that will be good fun. And friend of the show, we'll have an opposition fan preview. I'm apparently going on WAS TV as well, Franko, this week, beaming on into all of live television into New Zealand. I think the WAS TV guys were hoping that they would make the playoffs. And then other than that, we'll be live after the full-time pretty close to straight after full time, 9:30, 9:45-ish after the Sharks versus the Warriors next week. Hopefully recounting another epic Sharks victory. For me, David Bolderman, and for my lovely, intelligent, beautiful co-host, Stephen Franklin. This was the ET Stand podcast. Do hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time. Up, up, Cronulla!
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.